Hello everyone, my name is Manushree. I am studying 9th class in Macnan High School, Vijayawada. I am here to tell today's Hindu editorial analysis on 10th August 2021. The two topics that were given in our editorial page are Road Ahead from Gogra and Code Red. Today we'll discuss the second topic of our editorial page in our today's video. So before getting into our topic, let's have a small look on the first topic given, Road Ahead from Gogra. While disengagement happens, a long-lasting solution along the LAC remains a challenge. Okay, so when the mismanagement, like the separation of all the withdrawals has taken place, then the misunderstanding of all has taken, means the separation when it happens, then there is a long lasting solution that has remained as a challenge. Okay, after the talks on July 31, India and China have taken one more step towards restoring peace and normalcy on the LAC by disengaging at Gogra. It is, however, only one step and the road ahead towards returning to the status quo of April 2020 before the tensions of last summer upended years of a carefully managed, even if uneasy, peace along the LAC remains uncertain. Okay, so if there's any excel or the ban that has taken place or that was taken from few years back, so it has been carefully managed all over, going along a piece in the LAC, and still it remains as uncertain. It has taken 12 rounds of military level talks to see both sides disengage and put in place buffer zones in the Galwan Valley. The site of the June 2020 clash that marked the worst violence since 1967, Pangong Lake, and now patrolling point 17 in Gogra. The disengagement process at PP-17 took place on August 4 and 5, with a return to permanent basis. The next round of talks will discuss PP-15 in Hot Springs, Demchok, where China has transgressed in relatively smaller numbers than the deployments seen in the Pangong Lake, also remains unresolved. Well, so the violent or the contravenes, the disobeyment that has taken place in the Pangong Lake issue, it has seen that there were relatively small numbers when compared to the developments or all the deployments in the Pangong Lake. So, and many of them were also unresolved. Means they're not resolved yet. There's no resolution, like a solution for that. So on the July 31st, India and China, they were going to take one more step forward so that they may get the peace and normalcy on the LAC Gogra. So they have taken one step, but the road that was towards the returning of this April 2020 before the tension of all the last summers and all, they have taken carefully all the precautions. Okay, so well, let's get into our topic, that is Code Red. IPCC's warning on climate points to a small window of opportunity that will exist. Okay, well, so what is IPCC full form? It means Integrated Professional Competence Course. Okay, IPCC means Integrated Professional Competence Course. Okay, so well, so this IPCC warning that was on the climate points to go and to take all the small exists. The IPCC has issued arguably its strongest warning yet on impending catastrophe from unmitigated global warming caused by human activity, lending scientific credence to the argument that rising wildfires, heat waves, extreme rainfall, and floods witnessed in recent times are all strongly influenced by a changing climate. In a stark report on the physical science basis of climate change contributed for a broader assessment report on the UN, the IPCC's working group I1 has called for deep cuts to carbon dioxide emissions and other greenhouse gases and a move to net zero emissions, as the world would otherwise exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius and 2 degrees Celsius of warming during the 21st century with permanent consequences. Well, let's have a look on the meanings. So, impending. What is impending? It means imminent, near, upcoming. Impending means imminent, near, or upcoming, or inevitable. Catastrophe, a disaster, calamity, or devastation. Catastrophe means disaster, calamity, or devastation. Unmitigated, absolute, unqualified, or complete. Unmitigated means absolute, qualified, or complete. Okay. So, stark. Okay. So, stark, it means distant, obvious, or harsh. Climate now change is described by many as a far greater threat to humanity than COVID-19 because of its irreversible impacts. The latest report is bound to strengthen the criticism that leaders in many countries have stonewalled and avoided moving away from coal and other fossil fuels, while even those who promise to act fail to influence the multilateral system. The new report attributes catastrophic events to sustained global warming, particularly the frequency and intensity of hot extremes, marine heat waves, heavy precipitation, agricultural and ecological droughts, proportion of intense tropical cyclones, reductions in Arctic sea ice, snow cover, and permafrost. A phenomenon such as heavy rainfall over land, for instance, could be 10.5% wetter in a world warmer by 1.5 degrees Celsius and occur 1.5 times more often compared to the 1850 to 1900 periods. Well, let's have a look on the meanings. Stonewalled. What is stonewalled? Barrier, blockade, or abnegation. Stonewalled means barrier, blockade, or abnegation. Attributes: ascribe, credit, feature, or quality. Attributes means ascribe, credit, feature, or quality. Okay. More than 5 years after the Paris Agreement was concluded, there is no consensus on rising ambition to reduce emissions, making access to low carbon technologies easier and adequately funding mitigation and adaptation. COVID-19 had the unexpected effect of marginally and temporarily depressing emissions. The IPCC's analysis present scenarios of large-scale collapse of climate systems that the future leaders would find virtually impossible to manage. Heat waves and heavy rainfall events experienced with increasing frequency and intensity are just two of these, while disruptions to the global water cycle pose a more unpredictable threat. Also, if emissions continue to rise, oceans and land to important sinks, and the latter a key part of India's climate action plan, would be differently and greatly weakened in their ability to absorb atmospheric carbon dioxide. Consensus. It means agreement, harmony, or concord. Consensus means agreement, harmony, or concord. Okay, so the new report sets the stage for the COP P26 conference is November. The only one course to adopt there is for developed countries with legacy emissions to effect deep cuts, transfer technology without strings to emerging economies, and heavily fund mitigation and adaptation. Developing nations should be then have no hesitation in committing themselves to steeper emissions cuts. Okay, so disruptions means disturbing, disorder, or unsettling. Disruptions means disturbing, disorder, or unsettling. Scenarios: plot, outline, or scheme. Scenarios means plot, outline, or schemes. Well, I hope you guys understand today's editorial page. Thank you.